It is Christmas Day, and Christians around the world are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Many have started the day at church. eNCA's Ayesha Ismail is visiting churches in Cape Town to hear Christmas messages. She is currently at the Central Methodist Church in the CBD and joins us now. Ayesha, you've already clocked in another service at St. George's Cathedral this morning. How did it go?
Yes, Aaron, the service at St. George's Cathedral, which was led by the Dean, and that was Michael Weeder, the message there was one of peace, love and compassion. And now I'm at the Central Methodist Church. Now, we know that for the past 2 months and a half, there's been refugees and asylum seekers living here in this church, inside the Central Methodist Church. They've been evicted from another place where they've been staying. There was a court order because they had occupied that place where the UNHCR had offices. The Central Methodist Church here on Green Market Square then opened its doors to the refugees and asylum seekers, and 2.5 months later the refugees are still here. Now I'm joined now by the leader of the refugee group, Jean-Pierre Balous. He tells me that there was a church service here this morning, and the message here was also one of peace, love and compassion. But while others are going home to go and enjoy a nice Christmas lunch, the refugees here in this church will have to make do with what they have. I'm not sure if you were able to receive the visuals that we sent you earlier of the refugee children having a little Christmas program of their own.
Ayesha, some visuals there of events at the church earlier today. Certainly a lot of hubbub, families and audibly the sound of children talking about sound. How many carols and hymns have you heard during your visits to both St. George's Cathedral and now the Central Methodist Church today?
Well, it's you know, to compare the two, I mean, it's such a vast difference from the congregation at St. George's Cathedral compared to here at the Central Methodist Church. I mean, it's actually, it's a sad state of affairs. Just looking at the children here, they're not wearing the pretty clothes, the pretty dresses that other kids at other churches that I've seen earlier this morning are wearing. But let me speak to Jean-Pierre Balous, who's going to tell us about just how it feels to be spending Christmas here at the Central Methodist Church. Mr. Balous, you were telling me earlier that there isn't a big lunch prepared for you and the congregation here today.
Yeah, there isn't a big lunch that was been prepared. We try our best and say, let us try to bring these children together in order for them to see or to know that today is a Christmas day, because we couldn't do otherwise. And by the way is that they've been in South Africa for quite longer, and I believe this is their first ever experience that they have to come together and even coming to the knowledge of Christmas, because where they used to live it was not easy, and the way they used to live in of all these years in South Africa, they never enjoyed Christmas at all. It even get to the point where when people got into the Christmas Eve, they don't even have food on table. So we said, instead of just sitting the way they used to be, let us try to do something, giving them some cold drink. We bought some KFC for them. We bought some bread and something that we're going to share with them and show them kind of love and compassion to them as well.
What is your Christmas wish for the refugees and asylum seekers here?
My Christmas wish is that for Christians, we believe this is the beginning of the year. And I wish that people or refugees can be rescued from this kind of inhuman living situation that they are living in inhuman conditions that they live for years and years in South Africa, so that maybe tomorrow these children also can be to a place when they can dream for a better future, for a dream of their choice, that they want to be this and they want to be this. But here in South Africa, it will never come true, and their dream will never come to pass, because their situation, their lives have been hindered already. with the restrictions that the government of South Africa already put and imposed to them.
I heard the children singing earlier about leaving South Africa. Is that still your wish and desire?
That's correct. That's 100%, because there is, you can see yourself, if this government was really a government that cares about people for all these years, I can show you there are people who are here. They've been going just to the Home Affairs. They received a letter telling them to leave the country. You understand what it means? So when they receive a letter, someone that's coming from Somalia, someone coming from the DRC, then Kiev and wherever, you have to give that person a mass leave. How do you think that person will do? And while the people are asking for a better way just to be helped, because the UNHCR is the one that has to help refugees and take them to a safer place. But we don't like this kind of involvement that the government itself wants to involve itself. And people that want to score points that to try to hinder and destroy refugees' lives in order for them to better their lives. Simply because they will say, we managed to quell those refugees from going where they want to go, and we keep them here, they continue suffering. So that's the mission of some of the people that are speaking sometimes on our behalf, while we didn't even mandate them to speak on our behalf. But the reality is that these refugees need to be rescued. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Baluz. Back to you in the studio, Aaron.
Ayesha Ismail there at the Central Methodist Church in Cape Town, and discussing some of the ongoing issues that refugees are facing while they stay at that church after being moved from outside the UNHCR offices.